already know what you're thinking. You're like, here's another person who thinks that they have anxiety and that's gonna tell me all the same tips and tricks that I've heard before. Well, I'm here to hopefully prove you wrong, so. I'm putting these on, but it's not because I think I'm cool. It's because the snow is reflecting and it's burning my irises, so that's what we're doing. In this video, I wanted to do 5 things that have helped me a lot with my anxiety. You probably have heard of most of these things, sorry to disappoint. I'm gonna try to explain them so that you feel like they actually could work for you as well. That's the goal here. Tip number 1, and let me also just say, I'm not rating these as most important or what I think you should do like the most. So number 1 isn't like number 1, it's just the first one I'm saying. So get that straight. Number 1 is to talk about it. Talk about your anxiety to somebody that you trust, whether that's a parent, a family member, or a therapist. I highly suggest that if you're having any problems, go to a therapist. They're seriously so helpful, and even if you don't think you need one, just maybe try one out because they do help a ton. So just putting that out there. Yeah, you need to talk to someone, because when it's just you fighting like the mental illness, it's gonna be super hard. Once you start telling people, people can help you and like get you through it. Like if I'm having an anxiety attack, the second that I go to my mom, she's talking me through it, and like I'm able to get through the anxiety attack much faster. And if not, she just stops it in its tracks, which is rare, but it's very appreciated when it happens. My next tip is to sleep, and I know that one's probably talked about a lot by beauty gurus and all the people that know everything, but you need to be sleeping enough, not too much, but enough. You need, I would say, at minimum 7 hours, minimum. I know that's insane for some of you, and I know that for some of you that's not possible, but if it is possible, I highly suggest to try and implement it into your life to get 7 hours. For me, I go to bed at 10:30 and then I wake up at 6:20. This like regulation and like guarantee that you'll get enough sleep helps anxiety so much. I don't know the exact science behind it. I'm sure you could figure it out on your own, but I'm just saying having a consistent sleep schedule has like mellowed the anxiety a lot for me. It's like if I'm sleep deprived, my anxiety is at a high the next day. So there's the sleeping. I'm sure there's so many other people that have talked more in depth on why you need to be consistently sleeping and stuff. That's just my really quick explanation. The third thing that is on my list of like some of the most helpful things has been one that I literally hated when people said this to me. Like, it ticked me off. My mom brought this up to me one day and I was like, yeah, no, I'm not doing that because that is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. What she said was, how about like instead of fighting it so hard, you just don't fight your anxiety? Like, why don't you just feel it every once in a while? And I was like, if I just feel my anxiety, my insides are going to explode because I can't handle all of it at the same time. And she was like, no, I know, but like maybe just try to just let it happen and like don't worry so much about it happening. Just kind of be like, okay, it's here, whatever, I'm just gonna feel it. I hated when people said that, because she said that and then my therapist said that, and I was like, that's so freaking annoying. I'm not just gonna feel it. It's such a bad feeling, I'm not just gonna let it happen. But then my amazing therapist explained it to me in a way that was so eye-opening and like so, it just made so much sense that now I do it. And actually helps me so much. It's like insane how it helps. But he was like, this is you, like putting up a wall, and this is your anxiety. And so your anxiety is like constantly just fighting you, like hitting a wall. It like keeps coming back and it's prolonged and stuff. But if you were to just put the wall down, your anxiety would run its course and just get right out of the way. Like it could just go right over. He explained it better than me, but it was so eye-opening. I was like, oh my gosh, wow, that makes so much sense. I was like, you're a genius. And my mom was like, are you kidding me? I've been saying this. But anyways, so yeah, I would just say don't fight it. That sounds hard, but I would just try it if you can. Like if you feel an anxiety attack coming on, because for those of you who have them pretty frequently, you know, you can like feel it when it's starting to happen, like you're like ugh. And so maybe if you want just try like being like, okay, this is it, this is gonna happen, and just feel it. For me, it's almost like takes away the anxiety's power, because I kind of think of my anxiety as a person. Maybe stupid to you, but like I see them as being defeated. They're like, oh, she's not even like trying to fight this. She's not even like worried or mad about it. And so what's the point? And I imagine it just kind of like dwindling and not being there. So maybe I'm nutso, but it has worked for me. Seriously, it's a miracle. The next tip that I have is going to be one that a lot of you don't want to hear or do, but I'm going to say it anyways. And that is to do it anyways. And what this means is if something scares you, or you know something gives you anxiety, you need to be doing it anyways. And that doesn't go for everything. There are some exceptions, but if you need to like be in control. This is again kind of referencing anxiety as a person, but you kind of like need to show your anxiety who's the boss. Like, it sounds so stupid, but if you're not doing things because of your anxiety, then that just gives more power to the anxiety. Whereas if you're just actively doing things because you want to do them and not because like your anxiety won't let you, like you'll start to realize that more and more in your life you're in control. Your anxiety can't affect you or like interfere with your daily life, which is the definition of having an anxiety disorder. Like it just becomes easier for you to be like, okay, no, this isn't gonna make me anxious. So it's hard, trust me, it's super hard. I've done it and it just makes me feel like empowered, which might seem silly, but I feel super empowered when I'm like, I'm gonna do this anyways. Like a recent one, I don't know if you want to hear this, but a recent one for me was when I was deciding which college to go to. I have a few that are really close by, like within an hour's drive or an hour and a half drive, which would not be bad. And people were like encouraging me to do those because they were close by, and like if I had any anxiety problems I could just come home and like figure it out. And that kind of bothered me because I was like, well, I shouldn't have to go to one of these close ones just because of my anxiety. I shouldn't have to choose like, or even like the community college just because it's close by, you know? And so that really bothered me, and it felt like it wasn't my decision. It felt like I had to choose something close by or else I would like have problems with my anxiety and like be stranded somewhere at like a faraway school. But as I worked through things, maybe none of you really care, but as I realized that I wanted to go to the college that I like, I'm not gonna say the name, but I wanted to go to this college and I didn't care if it was gonna make me super anxious. I knew that I could get through it, and that college is like 3 hours away. Still not like out of state. It's still not like a day's drive or anything. It's 3 hours. But ultimately when I'm having an anxiety attack, that's like 3 hours I have to wait till I can get to like my family or something. But I like realized that I can do a lot on my own and that I don't have to rely on anybody except for myself, and like I don't have to be restricted by my anxiety. And so that tip is really important. It's hard, but it's important, and it's to do it anyways. My next tip, this one is magic. I have no evidence or science to back this up except for that it just has worked for me, and that is to be grateful. I know you weren't ready for it, but gratitude has been such a weird, it's like almost magic. I'm not even kidding. The only thing, like the quote that I think of when I say gratitude is the quote that says like, if you focus on the good gets better. Like that's the only way I can really say how this makes sense. But I decided to make a gratitude journal. I pray, and so I decided to, like in my prayers, that I would be really grateful for as much as I could be. And the minute that I started doing that, it was such a game changer. Like I don't know how to explain it, but my days became so much better because I was focusing on the good. And it seriously, when you focus on the good does get better. Like I don't know what else to say about it. I just was trying to be so grateful for as much as I could be, even if some days I didn't feel like I should be grateful. Like there was a period where I really hated the job that I had, but I was like thankful that I had a job anyways because it was bringing in money. And so like things like that, whereas like I didn't love that job at all, but I was still grateful that I was getting money, like that kind of thing. Just doing that every day, and then the next day I would notice that like things were working out better. Like I was able to have better days, not as much anxiety. It's just little things like that. And so gratitude is a huge one. It seriously helps. Like if you're just feeling super down in the dumps, you need to just try and be grateful for what you know you do have. Like, yeah, today has sucked. I'm feeling super anxious. Like my anxiety has been at an all-time high today, but at least I have eyes to see. At least I have ears to hear. Or I'm thankful for my hair. I'm thankful for my hands. Like things like that you can be grateful for. Like even if they seem like, well duh, everyone has that. Like, no. First of all, not everyone does have that. But second of all, like it's still something that you use every day. I don't know, it's hard to explain. It's not hard to find things that you're grateful for if you really, really think about it. And even if you have the hardest of days. And so that is one of my tips, gratitude. It's just a game changer. Oh my gosh. I hope you enjoyed watching this. I know that this is coming from a place where I'm like feeling pretty good, so it's like not the same, but I've had those bad days anyways, and I've been in those panic attacks and anxiety attacks, and all of this stuff still applies. I just know that this stuff works for me, and there's a ton more, and if you guys want to see more, want to hear more, I'm totally willing. I'm also thinking of like doing videos about like my story, like when we noticed it was actually a big problem and things like that. Sorry, the road is so bumpy. I kind of want to do that. I want to do, I don't know, I just want to talk about it because I feel like so many people can benefit from help, but they can't get the help necessarily. And so maybe this can be like a good source for them. I don't know. I just want to help, and I want people to know that it's not hopeless. It's not impossible to like manage on a daily basis. If you like the video, subscribe. If you want to see more, comment down below, like the video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.